Hi everyone! Today I have a lot of books to share with you in a book haul. Hi everyone, my name is Lexi and welcome back to my channel. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing okay. Today is just gonna be a really fun book haul. Okay, yeah. So I actually have not done any book hauls this year. This is my very first book haul of the year, and it's because I've really been trying to utilize my library more. However, my library actually shut down a while ago due to COVID. They've recently opened back up, but I ended up getting sent some books. I ended up getting some gift cards so that I could buy books. I decided to support my local indie bookstores by ordering from them. So I got a ton of books, not over the past couple of months, but basically this entire year, like throughout the year. But I definitely got the majority of these like around when the pandemic struck, just because I really, I wanted to support those bookstores. So today there are so many books to get through. I hope you don't mind. I don't exactly know the number, but I'm pretty sure it's over 50 books. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So I usually like to categorize these book hauls by like age category. So we're gonna go ahead and start with middle grade, then we'll go to YA, and then we will finish with adult. So the first couple of books were actually sent to me by some lovely subscribers, which was so incredibly kind. Thank you so much to Megan and Amy specifically. The first two books I think are from Megan, I believe, and they are the two books in the Pages & Co series. So we've got The Book Wanderers, which is book number 1, and then we've got Pages & Co, Tilly and the Lost Fairy Tales, and these covers are so beautiful. So thank you so much, Megan, again. So this is about a little girl named Tilly, and Tilly's mother disappears, and Tilly finds comfort in the books that she reads from her grandparents' bookshop called Pages & Co. I guess what happens is the characters from the books actually end up coming to the bookshop, and they teach her how to go into different books. And it sounds really great. I think we get to see a lot of different perspectives from classic children's literature like Alice in Wonderland and Anne of Green Gables, and I'm really, really excited to read this series. I've heard nothing but good things, and it just sounds kind of like something that I would really love at that age, but definitely that I would love now as well. So I can't wait. The next book is The Nowhere Emporium, and this is by Ross Mackenzie, and I'm very excited to read this one. I have been eyeing this book for such a long time. Beautiful cover as well. I'm gonna read the back because I think the back sounds really cool. So it says, "The Nowhere Emporium is open for business. Bring your imagination. The mysterious shop from nowhere can appear at any time in any city. Its magical labyrinth of rooms contains wonders beyond belief, but to enter, you must pay a price." And I read that online, and ever since then, I've just been dying to read this and see what it's all about. So thank you again, Amy. Next up, I actually bought a box of children's classics just because I think that they look beautiful and I really can't wait. And it is this, I think that this, yeah, it's the Puffin in Bloom collection. And I thought that these were really, really beautiful. So just super quickly, I will tell you what's in these. So we have got Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. And I just feel like this is so beautiful, and it's really thick, but it's just a really pretty cover. We've got Anne of Green Gables. We've got A Little Princess, which I have read and I love. And then finally we have Heidi, and I think that the Heidi one is so cheerful and cute as well. Next up, we have the book that Caitlin and I are reading for our book club, which is called A Touch of Whimsy. If you're interested in participating in a middle grade reading book club, I will leave all of the information down below, as well as our Twitter handle. You should totally come and check it out. Yeah, so this is the book that we chose, and it is Howl's Moving Castle, and I love this edition so much. I actually got this from the Folio Society. I just am kind of obsessed with this cover. I think it's so beautiful. I love the end pages. I love all of the illustrations. Here's an illustration in there. It's really, really beautiful. But Howl's Moving Castle is about a hat maker named Sophie. And Sophie is cursed basically to look like an old woman. And she meets this very mysterious and charming wizard named Howl. And they have adventures basically in Howl's Moving Castle. And it's really awesome. I don't know if you've seen like the Studio Ghibli film, but I am obsessed with that film. It's so good. I think it's pretty impossible not to fall for Howl as well. So he's, bae. The next one I don't think I've mentioned in a book haul before, but this was a gift from one of my really, really great friends here on BookTube, Gavin, and that is A Sprinkle of Sorcery by Michelle Harrison. This is the sequel to A Pinch of Magic. I know I've talked about the book before, but I don't know if I've mentioned that this was a gift, so I wanted to include this in the haul. Thank you so much, Gavin, by the way. This is the sequel to A Pinch of Magic, which was like one of my favorite middle grades of last year. I think it was my favorite middle grade I read last year, actually. Yeah, oh, I guess I can't say what this is about, but the first book, A Pinch of Magic, is about 3 sisters who all have a curse on the family, and they are all gifted magical items, and they have to try to break the family curse, and it's charming and whimsical and kind of everything that you would ever want. There are so many more middle grades. Okay, the next one is one that I've just recently picked up, and that is Thieves of Weirdwood. So this is about 2 friends, Arthur and Willie, and they are thieves. They need to get a lot of cash to help pay off for one of their brother's debts because they get a very, very large hospital bill. And they decide to go and try to steal from this very large manor. But what they don't realize is that the manor is actually the headquarters of a secret society. The secret society is in charge of keeping order between the imaginary worlds and the real world, and it's just kind of their adventures with this secret society and with all these different worlds, and oh my god, I really want to read it. The next book that I have is by Allie Carter, and it is called For Vengeance and Valor. Everything about this is just right up my alley. Oh my gosh. So this is about a girl named April who goes to stay at Winterbone Home, which is a home for orphans. But while she is there, she realizes that all of them seem to have remarkable abilities. And I think that there's gonna be that trope of found family in here. I believe that April's gonna find some lifelong friends, but also I believe there are some secrets in Winterbone Home, and not everything is as it seems. The next book I have is called The Midnight Hour, and this is by Benjamin Reed and Laura Trinder. And look at how beautiful that cover is. Oh my gosh. So this is about a girl named Emily, and Emily's parents disappear. And Emily realizes somehow that at midnight there is an entire Victorian London frozen in time. And somehow she has to figure out what is happening with this world, how it's connected to her parents. And I think also there's a lot of strangers who are coming to her door and trying to get clues from her. So it's a little bit of a mystery mixed with fantasy. It sounds really, really cool. I love the idea of like time freezing, and then there's just this whole other plane of existence happening within that frozen second. I don't know, it sounds really inventive, and I can't wait to read this. Next up, I have the book Pog, and this is by Padraig Kenny, and I absolutely love the cover for this one too. I just feel like in general, middle grade covers kind of win. So I'm gonna go ahead and read the back of the book for this one, and it says, after their mother dies, David and Penny move to her family's old house in the forest. Dad says it's a fresh start, but it feels sad and empty without Mom. And then there are noises in the attic. A small furry creature in the living room roof, and then there are other creatures too, less friendly ones that seem to be multiplying. Only with Pog's help can David and Penny save themselves and the goodness of the world. It just sounds like a classic, really cute middle grade, and I've heard really good things about this, so I can't wait to read it. Then the next one we have is The House of 100 Clocks, and this is by A.M. Howell. So this is about a girl named Helena and her father, who is a clock, I think, repair person or watchmaker. They go to stay with this wealthy person who lives in this very, very big house, and the job basically says that the clocks in the house can never stop. And apparently there's like ghost-like figures in this house. So I'm getting like a lot of spooky, creepy, like haunted mansion vibes, and it's just about the secret basically of these clocks and this mysterious house. The next one I have is by one of my very favorite authors in the entire world, Neil Gaiman, and that is M is for Magic. So this is one of the short stories that I picked up, and this is all short stories, but they're short stories written for children. I'm really, really excited because Neil Gaiman has just such an incredible mind. He really is not afraid to get dark, and he has so many inventive ideas. I think I'm gonna love this. I'll let you know though. The next book I have is The Tale of Despero, and this is by Kate DiCamillo. So this is the tale of a mouse named Despero, and Despero is in love with a princess named P. And I don't actually know a lot going into this, but I believe that Despero feels that it is his destiny to save this princess named P, and we kind of follow his journey. I kind of like mice. I don't know. That's like a weird statement to say, but yeah. So I think this is gonna be like a really, really fun book to read. We have so many more books to go through. I am so sorry. But okay, the next book here is The Magnificent Monsters of Cedar Street, and I'm very excited about it. First of all, I just think that the cover looks incredible. I really, really do. But I also feel like this is gonna be a really, really good read. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I have a good feeling about it. So this is about a girl named Cordelia, and Cordelia lives with her father, and they basically have a house where they keep monsters. So they keep different creatures and things like that. The people in the town don't understand that these monsters aren't all bad. They just see them as monsters. Cordelia has to kind of protect these monsters. I believe that her father goes missing and she has to try to find him. It sounds like it has a lot of really cool commentary on like not judging others and feeling like an outsider, and I think it's gonna be really, really great, and I have a feeling it's gonna be a powerful read. The next book I have is called Echo, and this is by Pam Munoz Ryan. So this book is about a boy named Otto, and I'm just gonna read the very like top part of this because it sounds really intriguing. It says, lost and alone in a forbidden forest, Otto meets 3 mysterious sisters and suddenly finds himself entwined in a puzzling quest involving a prophecy, a promise, and a harmonica. The next book I have is The Unmapped Chronicles, Casper Talk, and the Everdark Wings, and this is by Abby Elphinstone. This particular middle grade I've had on my radar for a very long time. So this middle grade is about Casper Talk. Casper is being bullied severely like at the school that he goes to, and every single day he usually hides from the bullies, but on this particular day his hiding spot is not available, so he decides to go into a grandfather clock to hide and discovers a whole new world. I can't wait because I love Portal Fantasies and it just sounds really, really cool. So I will be starting this very soon. So okay, that is it for the middle grade. Let's move on to the YA. The first YA book I have I actually bought because of Aphrodite Reads. She loves this book. It is The Lovely War by Julie Berry, and this book apparently is told from the perspective of Aphrodite, and she's explaining why she is making people fall in love during a time of war. I think she's on trial, and she's on trial with another god, but I don't remember who. I think this will be really, really good, and I've heard really excellent things, so I can't wait. This next book I actually got from Fairy Loot, so thank you so much to Fairy Loot for sending me this in a subscription box, and that is The Shadow Between Us, and this is by Trisha Levenseller. So this is a book about a girl named Alessandra, and Alessandra has decided that she is going to date the king of this kingdom, marry him, make him fall in love with her, murder him, and then take all of the power for herself. Except in the process, she ends up possibly developing feelings for him. So it sounds really, really great. It's been described as like a Slytherin revenge romance, and it just sounds, I don't know, kind of perfect. So I'm very excited to pick this up. The next book I have is An Enchantment of Ravens, and this is by Margaret Rogerson. I'm pretty sure I've heard about this one from one of my friends, Allie. I think Allie really, really liked this book. So this is about Isabel, and Isabel is an artist, and one day she paints a painting of, I think like a fairy king or prince, but she paints him with human emotion, and that kind of gets her banished and imprisoned by the fairy folk, and it's just kind of her tale with them and like what happens. So it sounds really good. The next book I have here is kind of like a post-apocalyptic, I think, story, and it's called Wilder Girls, and this is by Rory Power. This is a book that got a lot of hype and a lot of buzz last year. I think it came out around October, and I'm hoping to pick this up this next upcoming October for spooky season. This is about a group of girls who have all been like stranded at, I think, a boarding school, and they all have to fight for their survival, and there is this massive disease, I think, that's killing people, and it starts to affect them, I believe, and they have to kind of try to survive together. So it sounds really, really interesting. I've heard really, really great things about this book. I've also heard it's really, really dark, so I can't wait to pick it up. Next, I picked up an Anna Marie McLemore. I loved Wild Beauty by Anna Marie McLemore, so I needed to pick up more of their work. And so this is their newest work, Dark and Deepest Red. This apparently is about a sickness or a disease that infects people and makes them dance until they die. Anna Marie McLemore's writing is always so hauntingly beautiful, so I only needed to know a little bit before I decided to purchase this book because It just sounds really cool. Next up, we have got Mermaid Moon, and look at how cool this book is with like the sprayed edges. It's like a very thick book. I don't know, it just sounds, oh my God, I didn't even, look at the cover. Oh, that's so pretty. So this is all about Santa, and Santa is a mermaid, and she learns that her mom is actually on land, but that her mom has been spelled to forget her. So this is Santa's journey to try to become human, to connect with her mother. I love mother-daughter stories, specifically in literature. I think that they can be really, really powerful, and they always make me cry. So I'm very excited to pick this up. I also think this will be perfect to read around summertime because it is mermaid season. Next are two books that have been sent to me by Tortine, so thank you so much to them. And the books are The Deceivers and Scammed, and both are by Kristen Simmons. So I don't know a lot about this other than I believe it involves a group of friends who are trying to con their way into college. And that's all I know, but it sounds really interesting. Next up, I already had these books. It was the Raven Cycle. I purchased these last November, I believe, or maybe it was 2 Novembers ago, I don't remember. But I wanted to show you that I bought new covers for them because I liked that they all matched, including Call Down the Hawk. So I'm just gonna quickly show you all the covers. So the covers are this one. I just think that the Raven Cycle, like these are so beautiful, so I had to purchase them. So that's the first one. These are out of order, but here's this one, Call Down the Hawk, which matches now, which I'm really, really excited about. Then here's the Raven King. And here's the side. This one is beautiful. This is the cover for the Dream Thieves. I hope that's focusing. And then finally, Blue Lily, Lily Blue, and they're all so beautiful. I actually have not read this entire series yet. I really, really want to. I read the first book and I love the first book. So I think I'm going to actually try to read all of these books and possibly like vlog it. I don't know, but I'm really excited. The next book I also bought because of Heather from Aphrodite Reads, and that is All the Stars and Teeth, and this is by Adeline Grace. I actually saw that she went, I think it was like a book signing with this author, Adeline Grace, and Tommy Adeyemi, and the author of this book just sounded so cool that I immediately was like very compelled to go and purchase the book. So thanks again, Heather. So this is about a princess named Amora, and Amora is forced to flee onto a pirate ship. And I believe that there's like dark magic involved, there's a murder involved, is there a murder involved? It just sounds really perfect for the summer. I love pirate mermaid type books, so I think this will be really, really good. The next book I have is Perfectly Preventable Deaths, and this is by Deirdre Sullivan, and the cover of this, again, is so beautiful. It's been sitting in my TBR cart for too long, so it's a little bit warped, but that's okay. So this is about two twins, Maddie and Caitlin, and they both move to a new town. One of them starts to fall in love at this new town, and then the other one discovers that they have powers, but slowly one of them notices that they are losing themselves in this town. I think it's just kind of like what's really happening in this town, and I think it's also an exploration of their relationship as sisters, so it sounds really, really good. The next book I purchased because I think Kaylin is talking about this in her book club with Zoe and Liv, and that is Radio Silence by Alice Oseman, and I'm very excited because I've heard so many good things about this book. I've just heard that it's really, really powerful, and it's definitely been on my radar before. So this is about two people, Frances and Aled. Frances is obsessed with this podcast, and I believe it's called Universe City. She doesn't know that Aled is actually the person who runs the podcast until he asks her to collab, and then they spend the summer kind of becoming best friends. And then I think something about Aled that he is uncomfortable with gets revealed, and it's just kind of like how they deal with the fallout and what that means for both of them. And I don't know, it sounds really, really good. I'm very excited to pick this up. So I think it's a great pick for their book club as well. The next one, I don't know if this is young adult or if this is adult, but I'm gonna put it in YA. If it's adult, please feel free to correct me in the comments. But this is A Million Junes by Emily Henry. So this is about June and Saul, and I think it's a little bit like a Romeo and Juliet kind of story because their families hate each other and are feuding, but they fall in love. And I think they're trying to figure out why their families hate each other. But I also believe that there are touches of whimsy and magic, possibly some fabulism in here. So I think it's gonna be a really, really beautiful read, and I've heard very, very good things about this from people who I really trust. So this is definitely one that I'm gonna be picking up this summer. It's definitely gonna be one that I'm picking up sooner than later. The next book is a little bit of an older YA book, but I've never read it before, and I think that it would be perfect for the summertime, and that is With Malice, and this is by Eileen Cook. So I'm just gonna read the back because I love going into stories like this as blind as possible. So the back says, 2 friends, an exotic foreign location, the potential for jealousy and revenge, and an accident that looks like it might have been murder. It didn't matter what the truth was. What mattered was that it was fun to talk about. The next book was also sent to me by Fairy Loot, so thank you again so much to Fairy Loot, and that is Bone Crier's Moon, and this is by Catherine Prudy. So the only thing I know about this is that this is about this girl here who is the Bone Crier, and she, I think, has the power to control the dead or souls, but to obtain that power, she has to sacrifice her one true love. So I think it is their story. It sounds kind of perfect and spooky, especially for like the spooky time season. So I might hold off reading this until maybe a little bit later on in the year, but it definitely has my interest. The next book is a book that I picked up just because I think that it looked really, really intriguing. Like the cover was really striking, and then I read it and I was like, okay, this sounds like it could be really good. And that is Where the World Ends, and this is by Geraldine McCaffrey. Oh my gosh, I don't even want to pretend that I know how to say that name. I know I'm getting it wrong. I'm sorry. This book is another book that I don't know a lot going into. It's about Quill and his friends who every single summer I think are sent to this island. And one year when people don't go back for him and his friends, they know that the world has come to an end. And so I think it's just about their struggle to survive. It sounds like it has a couple of layers of, I don't know if it's gonna be magic or if it's gonna be like science-y stuff, but it sounds like it's gonna have some really cool added touches of whimsy almost and like darkness to it. So I think I'm really, really gonna like this. And I just love the cover, I really do. I think the cover is so just perfect. I love the font. I love everything about it. It's so good. The next book I was watching Rocky from Blonde with a Book, and I really, really like her channel, and she was talking about how excellent the writing was for this. It was like apparently very lyrical, and I immediately was like, okay, I will purchase it. And that is The Last True Poets of the Sea, and this is by Julia Drake. So this follows 2 siblings, Sam and Violet, and they apparently, like their family was founded when a ship called Lyric landed off of the coast of Maine. Violet has decided that she needs to find this ship. I've heard that this is a really, really deep and powerful story. I really am a huge sucker for like beautiful writing. Jandy Nelson is my favorite author basically ever. So I have a feeling it might be similar, and I have really high expectations and hopes for this book. And then the very final book that I have for YA is Hello Now, and this is by Jenny Valentine, and it says, Many Lives, One Love. So this is about a girl named Jude, and Jude and her mother move to a new town, and they stay with an eccentric older gentleman. And Jude doesn't believe in 2 things, love or magic, until she meets a mysterious stranger named Nova, and they fall in love together and have like the most epic summer. But when they get together, they alter reality. I don't know anything else. I don't know what that means, but I heard that. I like read that on the synopsis, and I was like, you know what? We're just gonna buy it. And that's literally everything for YA. So let's go ahead and do adult, and then I promise we're done. Okay, so really briefly, I purchased all of these Victoria Schwab books. Technically, these are YA, but I guess I'm just like lumping them in with the adult ones for right now. So I bought This Savage Song and Our Dark Duet. This is a YA series, and I don't know a lot about this other than it's about a boy named August Flynn who lives in a city with monsters. And then I also purchased the last 2 books in the Darker Shade of Magic trilogy because I want to read all of Victoria Schwab's works, and I'm really excited actually. I think I'm gonna vlog it. I basically just decided to purchase all the books that I didn't already have by her. Next we have another series. So one of my very favorite adult series is actually by Jay Kristoff, and that is the Nevernight Chronicles. And I own all of them, but I did not own these beautiful UK editions. So this is the Nevernight Jay Kristoff edition. Look at how pretty that is. And I purchased this one, I think from Illumicrate, I believe. Then we've got the second one that I also purchased is from Illuma Crate, which is God's Grave. And the cover for these are so gorgeous. They're so pretty. You have black sprayed edges. And then Kaylin gifted this one to me, and this one has yellow sprayed edges. So now I have the complete set in the UK editions, and I am so happy. If you don't know what this series is about, it is about an assassin named Mia Corvair, who is 16, and she finds her way basically into an assassin version of Hogwarts, and she has to learn how to kick some major ass because she wants to go and save her family. The next book is a book that I am so hyped to read, and this is by Lucy Foley, and that is The Guest List. This is a thriller. It is about a group of friends who all attend a wedding. They all have different motives for wanting the same person dead, and then that person shows up dead and they have to figure out who killed who. Because that book looks so good, I also picked up The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley, which has a similar premise. A group of friends all go to stay in like the Scottish, I think, wilderness or something. They're like all in a castle, they're all on vacation, and somebody winds up dead. I can't wait to read these. Who doesn't love a good thriller? The next one is a book that I actually picked up from Kayla's recommendation video, I think from a couple years ago or something. But she mentioned this book in quite a few videos, and she really liked this, so I picked it up, and that is All These Beautiful Strangers, and this is by Elizabeth Kleefoth. I'm just gonna read you the very top part of this synopsis. It says, a young woman gripped by her mother's disappearance is caught up in a dangerous web of lies and deception involving a secret society in this highly charged, addictive psychological thriller. And if you know me, you know that I love secret societies and I love thrillers, and this it kind of sounds really epic, so I can't wait to pick this one up either. The next book that I picked up is so beautiful, and it's been getting a lot of hype and buzz, so I can't wait to read it, and that is The Glass Hotel, and this is by Emily St. John Mandel. And she wrote Station 11, which I have yet to read, but I really want to read. So The Glass Hotel starts off with a bartender noticing a threatening message that has been, I think, carved on the glass or something like that. It says, I hope you die, or like eat glass and die, something really dramatic. And that is what kicks off the events that then follow in this book. I don't know, I have a good feeling about this book as well. The next book is a book by Kat Howard, and that is Roses and Rot. I absolutely love An Unkindness of Magician by Kat Howard. I absolutely loved it. So I had to pick up this other work by Kat Howard. I think I'm gonna love this. Hopefully I do. So I believe that this is about two sisters, and they come from an abusive mother, and they read a lot of books to kind of escape the abuse that they went through. And I think somehow these fairy tales are involved in their life as an escape, but I can't tell if like fantasy is involved, or if it's going to be a little bit more like a magical realism vibe, or if it's going to be a commentary basically on how we console ourselves as children. But either way, it sounds really intriguing, and I've heard really good things about this book, so excited to read this one as well. The next one I have is going to be a buddy read that I am reading with Kaylin and Allie right now, and it is Beach Read, and I'm very excited about this, by Emily Henry. This is a book about a writer who goes to write a romance. She has writer's block, and when she goes to stay in this place for the summer, she realizes that her arch nemesis, who is also a writer, is there, and he is trying to write something for, like, I don't know, just a regular adult fiction, but both of them have writer's block, so they decide to write for the other genre, and it's an enemies to lovers, kind of hate to love summer romance. I can't wait. I think it's gonna be really cute, and Allie really loves this book, so. Next, I have a classic and a staple in the magical realism genre, and that is The House of Spirits by Isabel Allende. This apparently follows a family for generations, and we have touches of magic in it through Clara, who can see spirits. It is just like a generational saga of how this family has survived a lot of oppression and war in their country. So. Next up, I have two shorter, I think these are novellas. The first one is The Empress of Salt and Fortune. I heard about this book through Kayla again from Books and Lala. It sounds really intriguing to me. She described it as kind of like a parable or an old-fashioned fairy tale, which really got my attention because I love those. This evocative debut follows the rise of the Empress, who has few resources and fewer friends. She's a northern daughter in a mage made summer exile, but she will bend history to her will and bring down her enemies piece by piece. The next one is A House at the Bottom of the Lake, and this is by Josh Mallerman, and I've heard that this is really creepy. This is so short, but this is just about two people who are dating, and they go out one day to the lake and they notice that there is a house at the bottom of a lake, and they go to explore it and they discover that not all is as it seems. So it's supposed to be really dark. Next up, I have another recommendation from Heather from Aphrodite Reads, and that is The Library of the Unwritten, and this is by A.J. Hackwith. And this is about a library basically as an afterlife. So there's a librarian, and the librarian takes care of all of the characters from different stories who were never finished. Things go awry. There's supposedly like a character who's just like not listening, and they go to seek their writer, and it follows the librarian as she tries to wrangle everything together. And it sounds really cool, and Heather's got excellent taste, so I can't wait to pick this up. I think I'm gonna love it. Next up, we've got a book that everyone has been talking about, and that is Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas, and this is House of Earth and Blood. I don't know a lot about this aside from the fact that it involves angels and demons, that it is massive, and that it follows a murder, I believe. That's all I know about that, but I like going into books like this pretty blind, and I've heard excellent things about this book, so I will definitely be picking this up very soon. Next is another book that I got from Kayla from Down at Books and Lala. I love her recommendations and I love her channel so much, and that is Bunny, and this is by Mona Awad. I hope I'm saying that correctly, but this apparently is about a girl who goes to a school and she notices that there is a weird sorority slash secret society where all of the girls call each other Bunny. She basically decides to try to join this secret society, and she realizes that it's a really messed up secret society. Keeping with that theme, I also have Lisa Jewell's book, The Family Upstairs. This is about a girl who receives an inheritance, and she inherits her family's house. So she decides to go there. When she was there the last time, she was a baby and her entire family had been slaughtered. So I believe it's her trying to figure out what actually happened that night to her family, who killed them, and I think she's also trying to stay in this house that she now owns. It sounds really cool, actually, like the book does, not obviously the other stuff. The next book I have here is an adult romance, I believe, and that is The Two Lives of Lydia Bird, and this is by Josie Silver. So this is about a girl, and her name is Lydia Bird, and she is completely in love with her fiance, and then he is tragically killed in an accident. And so she has to kind of repair her life and put back the pieces together. And eventually, after months and months and months of grieving and therapy, I think she finds somebody else who she starts to date and really like. But then she's offered the opportunity to live in a different dimension, I think, where he still lives, and they would have just already been together. And so she basically has to choose, like, does she live in her new reality where she is starting to fall in love with somebody else while still grieving, or does she choose to just be with the love of her life? But it sounds really interesting. I love it when books use parallel dimensions or, like, you know, alternate realities and things like that. So I think I'm really gonna enjoy this. Also, stunning cover. Very excited for this. So yeah. The next one I have is a historical romance. I never read historical romances, but the cover was beautiful, and I thought that I would just try something different, and that is These Old Shades, and this is by Georgette Heyer. This is about a duke, and the duke is like this cold person who never falls in love, and he decides to date somebody to seek revenge. And then what ends up happening is I think he falls in love with the girl who he is like fake dating. So it sounds really cool. I love those tropes. I love fake dating tropes. I think it's gonna be really good. The next book I have here is The Kiss Quotient. I feel like most people have read this. I haven't, but I've heard really good things about this. This is about a girl who doesn't know how to date. She doesn't know how to kiss, and she decides to hire an escort to help her learn how to date. And I believe they end up kind of falling in love. And I believe this also has some really excellent rep as far as autism, because I think our main protagonist is on the autism spectrum. Let me see. Yes, she has Asperger's. I'm really excited to read this. I think it's gonna be really good, and I've heard such good things in the romance community specifically about this book. And then the final book that I have to share with you, I can't believe we made it. is The Bookish Life of Nina Hill, and this is by Abby Waxman. And I think this is going to be my book. Out of all the books, I think this might be the book that hits the closest to home. So this is about an introvert, and her name is Abby, and Abby is perfectly fine with her cats and her books as a bookseller until one day she discovers that she actually has family that she didn't know about, and they want to connect and talk with her. And so she has to kind of try to get out of her shell and stop being an introvert, because I think they're very extroverted. And then along the way, she starts to date someone who was like her rival for something called Trivia Night. So it's about her trying to get a little bit out of her shell and, you know, obviously still love books, but maybe live a little bit more presently in the real world as well. And if this doesn't sound relatable, like, I really don't know what does. This sounds so relatable to me. I'm very excited to read this. I think this is going to be really, really cute, and I think it's going to be like the perfect summer vibe, romancy type book. So I can't wait to read this and to see what Abby gets up to. I know that was a lot. But I'm really, really excited to read all of these books. Thank you so much for sticking around. Are there any books that you think that I would be interested in? Please let me know. And have you read any of these books? Do you think I will like any of these books? Please let me know that as well. I know that 2020 has been a rough year for so many people in so many different ways. So I just hope that all of you are doing okay. I really do. I love you so much. And until next time, book lovers, keep your head in the clouds and your heart in a book. And I will talk to you very soon. Bye!
You know that I'ma keep it cool. With you I feel like breaking rules. On the edge, looking out with no parachute. You know I'm dreaming about us two, playing around without a clue. On the edge, leaning out. With us it's all or nothing.